पैनल चेयरपर्सन जो होंगे वो लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल गुरबिरपाल सिंह, AVSM, VSM, TG, NCC हमारे बीच में है, उनसे निवेदन है मंच पर पधारें। पैनल मॉडरेटर होंगे श्री चिराग शर्मा, CEO, ड्रोन डेस्टिनेशन। हमारे जो एमिनेंट पैनलिस्ट्स हैं वो हैं डॉक्टर अभिलाषा गौर, COO, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया। स्क्वाड्रन लीडर रिटायर्ड वर्षा कुकरेती, CEO, ऑटो माइक्रो UAS एरोटेक। श्री सुहास बंशीवाला, डायरेक्टर आरव अनमैन्ड सिस्टम्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड। श्री रचित भटनागर, CEO, एरोस्पेस एंड एविएशन सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल। आप सभी से निवेदन है कृपया मंच पर पधारें। हमारा ये जो अगला पैनल डिस्कशन है अब वो शुरू होने वाला है। कार्यक्रम के शुरू में हमने कहा था कि हमने सुना है कि समुद्र मंथन से अमृत की प्राप्ति होती है और विचारों के मंथन से, डेलिब्रेशन से और एक्सचेंज ऑफ आइडिया से हमें विश्वास है कि ज़रूर अमृत की प्राप्ति होगी। वैसे भी आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव हम सब मिलकर मना रहे हैं। इस देश को और हम सब को इस मंथन से अमृत की प्राप्ति ज़रूर होगी और मैं सभी का स्वागत करती हूँ। हमारे जितने भी गेस्ट्स हैं, बहुत बहुत स्वागत आप सभी का और कृपया अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें मंच पर। और अब मैं ये जो फ्लोर है वो आप सभी को सौंप रही हूँ और मुझे अनुमति दीजिए। धन्यवाद।
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcoming all the distinguished guests, dignitaries, and the budding youth of the country who is all present here for this panel discussion on developing a skill ecosystem in India. Skilling is a word that's widely used across multiple industries, and drones coming into play and kind of playing almost a revolutionary role. We almost personally foresee this. We had the laptop revolution come in, mobiles came, internet came. It's the age of drones. So this decade belongs to drones. So we're, and I'm honored to be present amongst dignitaries and, panelists who come with their various, a wealth of experience that they have. So really honored to be present amongst the dignitaries on the panel. I'll, before I introduce myself, I'll, request our chairperson, Lieutenant General Gurbirpal Singh ji, if you could introduce yourself, sir, and then we'll take this conversation. Thank you.
I'm Lieutenant General Gurbirpal Singh, and I am presently the DG NCC. You would be aware that NCC is the largest uniform force in the world. It has a sanctioned strength of about 17 lakh cadets, and our aim is to actually mold them, train the youth of this country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction. So just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Chirag Sharma. I'm the CEO and founder of Drone Destination and Hubblefly Technologies. We're both a drone manufacturing company approved by DGCA, as well as we run the largest drone training network of DGCA approved training across the country. Today we are present in 6 cities and we are adding 2 more in the next month, and the intent is to get to about 150 cities and create these skill drone skilling hubs across the country. From our experience of training over the last year or so, we've trained more than 650 pilots and instructors. Our own experience has been that one it's a topic that is kind of catching the fancy of the youth. There's a lot of employment opportunity that's coming around, drone skilling. There's a lot of interest, and we have identified, 4 core sectors where we would be needing, skilling across these verticals. So one of them comes right at the R&D level. So we will require, the country is going to require people in the UAV design, engineering, space, development space. Then we'll be needing tons of pilots. We're talking of, becoming a $5 billion drone service industry by 2025. That will require over 1 lakh, 2 lakh pilots. So like sir mentioned, we have 17 lakh, one of the largest groups. So hopefully, we'll be able to leverage their experience and then bring this kind of scale to, in our ecosystem. Then we also have another skill set that, that focuses on maintenance, repair, drone technicians. And lastly, we're talking of once all this data is acquired, you've done everything, you also need to process this to get insights. So these are 4 verticals that personally, from our experience of training these people, we've identified would play a major role. And then we have specialists amongst us, whom will be able to get more information on each of these things. So we would start off now, we have Dr. Abhilasha Gaur here from ESCCI.
Yeah, thank you, Chirag.
Ma'am, I'll just please introduce yourself, and I'll quickly ask a question also that we would, love for you to answer. So, when we talk about, especially on the design space, India as a country has been great at assembling and manufacturing, but, our core design and making something IPable is something that is still a miss. This is where we could create high-value IP products. So how do you foresee ESCCI, what kind of skills can we leverage and bring into the drone ecosystem, which are complementing to what, the electronics space has already done for us? How can we, bring that into the drone sector? So we would love to have insights on that.
Definitely. Thank you, Chirag. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Abhilasha Gaur, Chief Operating Officer for Electronics Sector Skill Council of India. We started our operations in 2012 with the leading industry bodies who were into electronic system design and manufacturing space, and we work very closely under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship with NSDC and National Council for Vocational Education and Training. As far as the drones are concerned, definitely we saw a lot of school children also today in the pavilion. So that shows that how fascinated the next generation is with the drones. So a lot of responsibility comes to us as we are into the skill ecosystem, so provide that kind of opportunities to the candidates who want to make a career in this segment. As far as ESSCI is concerned, to answer your question, Chirag, we are, till few years back, we were focusing mainly on consumer electronics, PCB design, solar and renewable energy, security and surveillance. And now the focus is shifting to industrial automation, drones, mechatronics, and even with semiconductors, which is a very important part. And as we are aware, the design-linked incentive scheme, which has launched by Government of India, so we have already got our courses in place, which are NSQF aligned courses regarding VLSI design and embedded system also. Same way with IoT hardware analyst also. So those courses are already in place. But as we all know that as far as the manufacturing is concerned for drones in India, still definitely it is started picking up, but we are still more dependent on imports. But I am sure within the coming years, the situation, the landscape will change. Right now, what we are offering to the candidates in drone is assembling and manufacturing courses, as well as repair and service. As we see a lot of people who have gathered here, and everybody is seeing a lot of applications, not only into agriculture or logistics or defense. So definitely we know that we require a workforce who will be able to, for the repair and maintenance, for the services also for these drones. So those courses are in place. Yes, IP and design is will take some time to come up with these kind of courses by ESACI.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, rightfully agree. So I'm glad that there are courses coming at that level where at least we'll be able to enable the ecosystem to, get, because the way we see, we're talking of lakhs of drones. So this is going to be at par with automobile industry from a scale perspective. So when we talk about the kind of skilling required that goes into an automobile, industry, the same thing, we'll have to draw parallels. So the kind of courses that you've outlined, especially on at least to get them started on, assembly, maintenance and get that. So there is that skill set also needed in bulk, in volume, and that has to be present pan-India. So we'll be very thankful as an industry, if we can get that support, because even today there's immense shortage because it's something completely new. And with different Indian manufacturers currently are, developing products which are, they may not be fully standardized. I feel with the skills that we'll be able to leverage from ESCCI, we may be able to, cross-utilize these skills across different drone manufacturing companies as well. So thank you, ma'am. I'll just move on to squadron leader, Varsha Kukriti, ma'am. She's actually been in the training space, drone manufacturing space for a very long time, and been interacting with the students and youth as well. So, ma'am, I would like to ask you a question when and how do you foresee this drone, as a subject being introduced into our education system? What would be the right time? When is it that we should kickstart this? And then how do you foresee, this transition from moving from education to getting someone industry ready? So if you could shed some thoughts.
See, the time has come because we've been working at it since 2011-12, and today if our own PM is flying a drone, so everybody looks up to him. So if he is flying the drone, so I'm sure each and every child and person of my country would be wanting to fly the drone. So what I say is, as Amos Group, and that is the company which we started, and I think I was one of the first women entrepreneur of the country, and our group feels that this education should be from KG to PG. A child who goes to KG, he should be given the drone education wherein he is giving the puzzles which he is fixing and making a drone, understanding, and small modules we've already made, and this system is already running in a few schools where we are going and teaching them how to, that concept is being brought to them, that how to manufacture a drone, how does it fly, what is a motor, what is a propeller. Once these concepts are gone into a person's mind, so a fire is kindled. Even if a child gets a drone back home, his parents are also now compelled to learn. See, when we were small in class 6 or 7, computers came in and everybody got into it. So similarly, it's a drone. It will be the next vehicle. And I can promise you, within next 5 years, there will be a home drone, which everybody will have. So everybody has to learn this. We need this in our ecosystem. And who else will do it? We are the trainers. We have to teach everybody. Now colleges are asking for drone trainers. And it's not only like drone manufacturing, it is about drone flying, then analyzing the softwares. So everywhere this space is there. For every one drone, I see around 10 people getting employed. So see, it's like a new thing, new guy on the block. Let's teach everyone. Even if I believe in, teaching anybody, even anybody who's in the roadside, whether he's has a certificate, doesn't have a certificate, we should kindle the fire. So everybody will join in. That's what I feel, Chirag. See, you've brought it so far. He's training and he's training so well, I must say. So everybody will do this.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, rightfully said. Given the fact that this is going to, like you said, and I like what you said, that every one drone creates 10 jobs. We used to hear things in the aviation sector, every one aircraft creates 1,000 jobs or 2,000 jobs. So, but at the scale that we are talking in terms of drone adoption, yeah, that one drone, 10 people. And then with lakhs of drones, we're talking of millions of jobs. So yes, this does bring in a revolution. On a more personal front, even us, when we are now interacting with polytechnics, ITIs, that's where the bulk of skilling youth is there, and then NSDC is coming up. So we also personally feel that this drone education probably would start, a sweet time, could be right from 9th grade, 10th grade onwards, where then in high school, just we took up computer programs and programming, the same thing could be started in high school as well. So at least by the time they come to college, it's not a new baby, something, nothing completely fresh that's coming to the table. But I'll, so definitely I completely concur with your view. And so I'll take this break and probably come back to Gurpreet Pal Singh sir once. You talked about 17.5 lakh NCC cadets, sir. So we're talking of, again, voluminous numbers. So how does Army today, the technology is changing practically on a daily basis. The level of innovation and skilling that's needed, it's almost real time. So how does the Army, so in your let's say, field, is there a framework? How do you implement such kind of skilling, and how do you make sure that the people remain current? And then especially when drones are coming in, how do you foresee that getting integrated, within your setups?
I'll talk about NCC now.
Sure.
We constantly look at the aspiration of the cadets as also as what is required. We have an air wing. Apart from doing the aerial activities, we also provide them, apart from the flying, we also do simulator training, also do aero modeling training. We have identified some kind of skills which would meet the aspiration of the cadets. Also, it will help them getting a job We are in the process of studying it, and drone training, drone pilot is also one of the issue under consideration. Our requirement, the numbers of cadets are quite big. Our spread is also all over the country, almost in all districts. So let's see how things pan ahead.
Thank you, sir. And then any help you need from the industry, we're all available. The whole ecosystem is, just kind of brimming with energy. So I'm sure you had opportunities to interact. So we would be happy to support in any way, to ensure that these cadets that get trained are also made job ready. And then to be honest, there will be tons of private jobs also available for them. Another thing I'll bring into this, what our experience suggests today, when we go out and hire, so as a company, let's say hiring 500 people today as we speak. Now those 500 pilots are hard to come by today because these guys are not used to staying in the field. They're not used to, but the drone piloting requires, it's not just flying, it's not just knowledge, but there is that attitude, there is that endurance that they have to build as well that is, fundamentally needed. And our experience is showcasing that, the youth today is a little more, tech savvy, used to air-conditioned offices. So NCC, I think because they run with that mental attitude of discipline and being in the sun, so I think they will become really. I personally feel that they will come exactly at that intersection where we need these people. I think Varsha ma'am probably has something to add there.
What Chirag is saying, that really happens. Because a drone pilot, when we are talking about drone pilot, not the everybody backend, the pilot needs to know ये धूप का और पसीने का काम है, इट्स नॉट ईजी. एंड कभी कभी आप जब उड़ा रहे हैं तो आपको ख्याल भी रखना है. कभी कभी आप एक टीले के ऊपर से उड़ा रहे होंगे तो आप उड़ाने में इतने मशगूल हो जाएंगे, एक कदम पीछे रखेंगे तो आप गिर सकते हैं. तो वो उन लोगों के लिए है जिनको एक जुनून है, जिन्हें बाहर निकल के कुछ करना है, एक डिफरेंट लाइफस्टाइल. आई मीन फॉर ड्रोन पायलट्स इट्स अ डिफरेंट बॉल गेम ऑल टुगेदर. सो ये सोचना अगर ड्रोन पायलट बन रहे हो तो भाई ये सब करने को मिलेगा.
मैम जैसे आर्मी में कहते हैं नॉट फॉर द फेंट हार्टेड, जब हम फोर्सेस में जाते हैं मेरे हिसाब से वो ड्रोन पायलट भी इट्स नॉट फॉर द फेंट हार्टेड. यू वांट टू मेक श्योर दैट यू लव द फील्ड, यू लव द सन, यू लव दैट एनर्जी बिकॉज दैट इज व्हाट्स गोइंग टू ड्राइव दैट पैशन. So we've spoken a bit about piloting, but I'll move on to we have Suhas with us, who's the CTO and co-founder for Arav Unmanned System, one of the leading drone as a service companies, and then Arav's been doing some phenomenal job when it comes to probably the largest Swamitra player in the country today. So Suhas, because you come from the technical background and we are talking about piloting, but there is that completely other end of design engineering, manufacturing, the development, where I personally feel India has always kind of lagged behind at that R&D level. So how do you foresee at what point and where should we introduce this whole R&D ecosystem should be established in order to foster innovation, so we start making world-class products in India that we can sell to the world? So
thank you, Chirag. That's actually a very interesting question and something which has been very close to my heart for many, I would say, months now. And before I come to that particular question, maybe I'll just introduce a bit about my organization, my company first. So Arav Unmanned Systems, we have been providing end-to-end, I would say solutions to enterprises with the help of our drones for the last 9 years now. And we have mapped an overall of more than 45,000 square kilometers of area historically across India. Till date, under the Swamitra scheme, we have mapped more than 15,000 square kilometers of area up till now, which means more than 25,000 number of villages across the country. So what I'm going to talk about is majorly from the perspective and the pain points of what the manufacturers have been feeling. So there are two types of skill sets that majorly has been talked about when it comes to the drone technology. One is the skills in terms of the operators and the piloting skills that is required to operate the drones on the field. And the other skills is of the engineers, of the researchers, of the developers who are going to do the ground level innovation and come up with some world-class products, which has got inbuilt in automations, which can indirectly on some level decrease the requirement of the operators in the first place itself. So there has been a lot of buzz around doing skill development of operators and pilots. What I believe is that we need to focus more on innovating in a way such that this need of the operators in the first place is reduced as much as possible, right? So when we talk about even operators, so operator is a term which I prefer over pilots. Why is that? Because Pilot means you have to remote controlly pilot a particular drone, right? That's actually not even the case for most of the drone applications today, especially the enterprise-based applications. You don't even need to pilot a drone. What you need is to pre-plan the mission that is going to then automatically be executed by the drone, right? What you need to do at the end of the day, as Varsha ma'am also mentioned about, you have to be able to endure the conditions on the field. You have to have the skills. More than the skills, you need to have the right kind of attitude and that kind of a determination to be there on the field, because the conditions where these drones typically operate are extremely hard, no doubt about that. And there is no doubt, again, there is a short-term immediate requirement of a lot of pilots, and there has to be a lot of effort put in that particular direction. That being said, there is a long-term, I believe, even more dire requirements of a talent pool of mechanical engineers, electronic engineers, I would say system engineers, most importantly, embedded software developers, front-end, back-end engineers, and so on, right? And this is something which is, I believe, somehow not being talked about as much. See, I'll maybe let you into one of the secrets of what Unmanaged Systems has been doing, right? Like, we currently have more than 100 drones deployed on the field, which are doing more than 400 flights each day. And how have we been able to manage that show? Of course, training of the operators is an important part of it, but more importantly, it's about the back-end engine. We have a certain kind of a, I would say, health monitoring system, which indirectly monitors the SOPs or the activities of the drone operators on the field. The flight logs, the amount of data which is being actually generated from these drones, not just the data being created from the sensors on board, but also there is a lot of data around the navigation system of the drone, which is also available, which can actually give amazing insights of how a drone operator is actually performing on the field. Because again, as I mentioned, as an operator, you have to majorly follow SOPs. You don't have to, have those kind of skills like the captains of an airline will ideally need, right? So innovating on the back end, innovating on the core technology, which can actually enable the whole operations and streamline the things for the operators on the field, is something which is even more direly needed. Unfortunately, what is happening right now, of course, this is not a generalized statement, but yeah, for majority of the products around the drone space ecosystem in the country which are available, what I see is they are based on a lot of assembled components. There is no indigenous development happening on the core. It's majorly assembling of or sharing the technology borrowed from outside India. There is, I think, a lot of onus which lies with the manufacturers to train their engineers and come up with really innovative product. There has to be a focus on not just working on the application layer of the drones, but also to understand the concepts behind how that drone is actually flying. A lot of the engineers that I interact with, I think in the past 8 to 9 years of me working with Unmanaged Systems, I would have interacted easily with more than 2,500. I would have interviewed more than 2,500 engineers in this particular space. And what I find is the core understanding of the concepts has been direly missing, right? So now it's the onus on the manufacturers that jugaad bhul jao. There has been a lot of jugaad done till date. Our honorable ministers, the PM, they have this amazing vision of making India as the drone hub of the globe, right? That cannot happen without innovation. That cannot happen with borrowed IP, borrowed technology, right? And maybe other way how this problem can be addressed is through academia. I think it's high time now that the educational institutes start introducing drone tech and basically syllabus in their courses around this particular technology, which will enable and make available freshers, which I would say would be ready to contribute to this particular space directly after coming out of their educational institutes. And this is something maybe wherein a lot of government intervention in the form of grants and creating an ecosystem in the academia and the educational institutes, primarily engineering institutes, wherein government can also play a lot of role.
Yeah, thank you, Suhas. So as rightfully said, I personally feel, we're talking of bridging, basically, fundamentally what I could gather from the points that you laid out is there is a gap between, once you're educated and once you're joining the industry, there is this gap that needs to be kind of addressed, which I personally feel we have to, that's where skill development comes into play. And that's kind of something more generic in nature, and it's probably applicable across different industries. हम बच्चे को पढ़ाते हैं स्कूल में, उसको कुछ पढ़ाते हैं, वो एकदम रट्टे वाली पढ़ाई होती है, उसके बाद में जब वो इंडस्ट्री में जाता है, आज आप MBA का भी एग्जांपल ले लें, तो अब इतने ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम्स चल रहे हैं, MBA चल रही है, पर अगर वो जाता है बाजार में तो उसको ही इज़ नॉट जॉब रेडी. सो आई थिंक व्हाट यू आर रियली सेइंग, एंड आई पर्सनली फील that I've already started seeing that momentum. There are many tech schools, colleges who are starting to incorporate centers of excellence with regards to drones. So once these centers of excellence are coming into play, this is like the stepping stone in terms of fostering that R&D and innovation ecosystem. And I personally think that this is probably the right time for players like us who are in the drone manufacturing and development phase to sign up with some relationships with the universities and run these courses. So, I think this is where the manufacturers could come and co-create certain curriculum and program, because then essentially what you've done, just like the Tatas of the world or your TCS and Wipros, they start doing this campus co-curriculum creation, they start developing these programs, so by the time they come out, the guys already prepared. So I think that is where we could probably also assist in making sure that they are attuned to that mindset of skill building.
Chirag, this is happening. Sorry.
Sure, sir. Yes. Dr. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you, Chirag, for getting this beautiful panel discussion here. And in fact, I represent Skill India ecosystem. And I would like to first place on record the huge effort by Drone Federation of India and the team Ministry of Civil Aviation, who have organized this huge event and got all the drone ecosystem into one place under one roof. A huge applause to them, first of all. So I have just heard, और आप सबने सुना होगा यहाँ पे कि किस तरह जो आजकल requirement है. We want to ignite and motivate the youngsters of India for a drone whole ecosystem. So उसके लिए I have got some few thoughts and we are working on that. So जो मैं रिप्रेजेंट करता हूँ वो है एरोस्पेस एंड एविएशन सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल, जो कि कंप्लीट ऑल वर्टिकल्स ऑफ स्किल डेवलपमेंट इन एरोस्पेस एविएशन करता है, जिसमें कि एयरलाइन ऑपरेशंस, एयरपोर्ट ऑपरेशंस, एरोस्पेस MRO विच इज़ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, रिपेयर एंड ओवरऑल, एंड ऑल्सो द डिज़ाइन डेवलपमेंट एंड द एरोस्पेस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इज ऑल्सो देयर. एंड नाउ हम जुड़ गए हैं ड्रोन से. सो ड्रोन के ईच इकोसिस्टम में हर एक स्किल डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं. So under the Skill India ecosystem, we have developed the qualification framework under the National Council of Vocational Education and Training. और इसके अंदर ये अभी हमारी प्रयास जारी है कि स्कूलों में, जैसे आपने बात किया, स्कूलों के अंदर जो अभी हमको एक सर्कुलर मिला है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन से, दैट क्या हम लोग बच्चों के लिए 10 बैगलेस डेज, मतलब 10 दिन बच्चा स्कूल में बैग लेके ना जाए, ऐसी एक्टिविटी को प्रोत्साहन दे सकते हैं क्या? तो उसके लिए लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर कमिंग, रिव्यू पॉइंट्स कमिंग फ्रॉम द सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल्स एंड मैनी अदर स्टेक होल्डर्स. तो उसमें ड्रोन भी एक एरिया है जिसके अंडर में हम लोग टिंकरिंग लैब, जो आपने बताया कि अटल इनोवेशन मिशन के अंडर में है, दे कैन बी प्रोवाइडेड विद स्मॉल नैनो ड्रोन्स विच डजंट रिक्वायर लाइसेंस. दे कैन ओपन इट, खोल के दे सकते हैं, मज़े कर सकते हैं, फ्लाई कर सकते हैं. और कई बच्चे आजकल तो कोडिंग भी करते हैं, तो दे कैन अप्लाई दैट कोडिंग एंड सी द ड्रोन फ्लाइंग इन अ कंट्रोल एटमॉस्फेयर. तो यहाँ से इग्नाइट होगा उसका मिशन और उसकी जिज्ञासा, एंड देन इट विल कमिंग टू द कॉलेज लेवल. तो कॉलेज लेवल पे हम लोग ये अभी कर रहे हैं कि यूनिफाइड क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क जो अभी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन ने लॉन्च किया है, जिसमें कि सारी स्किलिंग एक्टिविटीज़ जो हमारे क्वालिफिकेशन फ्रेमवर्क हैं उसको हम 30 आवर्स के मल्टीपल्स में लेके आ रहे हैं. तो जो ये एक्टिविटी जो होगी उसमें कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स कैन टेक क्रेडिट्स. 30 आवर्स का वो एक स्किलिंग एक्टिविटी करेगा तो एक क्रेडिट उसको मिलेगा, तो विच विल बी यूजफुल. जिस तरह आजकल जो दे कैन हैव ए डुअल certification system when he comes out of the college, so he can have credits from drone, credits from painting, credits from other activities also which he finds useful, and he can come out, he can do a exit मल्टीपल एंट्री मल्टीपल एग्जिट स्कीम जो कि आजकल आई है NEP नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के अंडर में, तो विद दिस काइंड ऑफ एक्टिविटीज़ वी आर क्रिएटिंग जिससे कि उसका काफ़ी एक ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट होगा. So this is something we are trying to get. So we come in where we want to do mass skilling, mass awareness. अवेयरनेस पहले होनी चाहिए. जैसे आपने बताया कि ही शुड नो कि वो जो बाहर धूप में खड़े होकर सर्वे एंड मैपिंग करेगा तो उसको वो एक AC एटमॉस्फेयर नहीं मिलता. जो आजकल का यूथ है दे आर ट्राइंग टू गो टू ए कूलर एनवायरनमेंट, AC एनवायरनमेंट एंड वर्क. तो दिस अवेयरनेस ही शुड नो कि अगर मैं ड्रोन पायलट बनना आसान है लेकिन उसको ऑपरेट करना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. There are different circumstances where we have to operate. So this kind of awareness we are trying to get in. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think ma'am had a point. Well, you can go.
मैं यही कहना चाह रही थी कि जब हमने काम शुरू किया तो उस वक्त जो बच्चे हमारे साथ जुड़े मेरी कंपनी में तो बहुत रॉ थे. दे वर नॉट नोइंग हाउ टू वर्क, बट हम एक ही एरिया में काम कर रहे थे. सो एवरीबडी काइंड ऑफ फाउंड देयर स्पेस कि मुझे ये करना है. कुछ बच्चे हैं जो धूप में काम करना चाहते हैं, कुछ AC में काम करना चाहते हैं, तो सबको अपना स्पेस मिल रहा है ड्रोन इकोसिस्टम में. एंड उससे मुझे जो अभी सर ने बताया और जो चिराग और हम सब बात कर रहे हैं, एक चीज़ हमने और करी कि हम कॉलेज में जाके हमने सिखाना शुरू किया है. और व्हेन वी देव डन अ 3 credit कोर्स विद अस, सो उससे कई बच्चों को मतलब विदेश में भी जॉब में मिली है, प्लस उनकी इनकम में भी इजाफा हुआ है. तो ये जो सर ने अभी इतनी जानकारी दी ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण थी. और मतलब आई होप आप सब इसको लेके आगे बढ़ें तो मतलब हमारी ये मुहिम सफल होगी.
Thank you, ma'am. So just adding to that point to credit system, so हमने भी खुद as a company we've actually tied up with चंडीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी में हमने पंजाब का पहला ड्रोन ट्रेनिंग स्कूल खोला है. we're signing an MOU with IIT पटना next week. So उसमें भी ये रिक्वायरमेंट आई है और उसमें भी वो पहले शुरू कर रहे हैं एज electives ये प्रोग्राम शुरू करने, क्योंकि वो बच्चे को भी कुछ तो साथ में इंसेंटिव मिलना चाहिए पहले अवेयरनेस बिल्ड करने के साथ में. सो एंड many universities are really open to introducing this first as an elective, then maybe as a specialization, और उसके बाद में कल को BTech, UAV इंजीनियरिंग, MTech, UAV इंजीनियरिंग टाइप के भी हम स्पेशलाइज प्रोग्राम्स करेंगे. जो सुहास का भी जो वो पॉइंट था कि एरोनॉटिकल, मैकेनिकल, सिस्टम इंजीनियर्स जो हम ढूंढते हैं, तो एट कोर लेवल पे अगर UAV इंजीनियर स्पेसिफिक कुछ मॉड्यूल्स भी बने तो आई एम श्योर वो इकोसिस्टम थोड़ा सा और मैच्योर बनेगा, आपके पास में थोड़ा ज़्यादा राइट अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ मिलेगी. सर एक क्वेश्चन मेरे को एविएशन सेक्टर से रिलेटेड आपसे था स्पेसिफिकली. इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स ऑपरेशन होता है एविएशन का.
Okay.
ड्रोन ऑपरेशन भी आप समझ लीजिए काफ़ी ऐसे तरह से होने वाला है. तो कौन से टाइप की स्किल्स आप देखते हैं जो अभी की एविएशन के इकोसिस्टम में हैं, जो ड्रोन्स में भी क्रॉस यूटिलाइज हो पाएंगी, जिसको हम लेवरेज कर पाएंगे? और आज का आपका क्या टेक लग रहा है, क्योंकि पायलट्स भी हैं, जहाज़ के पायलट्स भी हैं, एविएशन सेक्टर भी बढ़ रहा है, तो उनका अपटेक और उनका व्यू और उनका अपनी एंथुजियाज्म क्या लग रहा है कि कितने लोग ये एविएशन से जो जुड़े हैं वो ड्रोन इंडस्ट्री में आना चाह रहे हैं? आप आई एम श्योर आपके यू हैव ईयर्स टू द ग्राउंड, सो थोड़ा.
Yeah, so we have faced this issue when we connecting and trying to create a lot of center of excellence, जो कि सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस हर तरह का स्किल सिखाएगा. तो ये एक्चुअली ये जो ड्रोन है, आई थिंक आपने देखा होगा, दे कम्स इन अ वेरी माइक्रो काइंड ऑफ थिंग. मतलब ये छोटे ड्रोन्स हैं, स्मॉल ड्रोन्स भी, दे आर नॉट लाइक एयरक्राफ्ट. तो एयरक्राफ्ट में एक विंग का स्पेशलिस्ट अलग होता है, एक इंजन का, एरो इंजन का अलग से होता है, एक सिर्फ अंडर कैरेज का एक अलग से एक टेक्नीशियन होता है. तो ऐसा इस पर पॉसिबल नहीं है. तो ये ड्रोन्स में लाइक 1 person कैन बी मल्टी स्किल्ड. सो इस पर ये नहीं है कि अगर वो ऑपरेटर है तो वो टेक्नीशियन का काम नहीं करेगा. तो इट हैज़ टू बी अ वेरी काइंड ऑफ कंबाइंड जॉब, ओवरऑल जॉब, व्हेन ही हैज़ टू बी flying a drone, and also at the end of the thing he should know how to assemble it, deassemble it, do any troubleshooting, and also at the end of it data interpretation भी उसको आना चाहिए. तो this because the drone industry right now in nascent stage, nobody can afford to have only propeller का एक technician or propeller का only one operator. So this is where multi-scaling is where we're trying to build in. And other question, Chirag, what you're talking about, yes, primarily जो कि गवर्नमेंट का भी, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन का भी था, जो एग्जिस्टिंग FTOs, फ्लाइंग ट्रेनिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन तो थे, उन्हीं को लाइसेंस दिया गया रिमोट पायलट ट्रेनिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बना के, और अभी भी वही चल रहा है. नाउ द इंडस्ट्री इज ओपन. द इनिशियल बिकॉज वी वांटेड लॉट ऑफ एरोनॉटिकल नॉलेज इनटू इट, बिकॉज एनीथिंग, एनी फ्लाइंग ऑब्जेक्ट इन द एयर, इस कंट्रोल एयर स्पेस मैप में काम करता है, विद रेगुलेशन में काम करता है. दे शुड नो अबाउट अनमैन्ड ट्रैफिक मैनेजमेंट, they have to know about कहीं ये danger area में तो नहीं चला गया है. So that industry now, it is now getting matured. So now the universities and everybody is now open. So with that, preferred ये था initially कि aeronautical engineer लोग ही आएंगे, but now everybody is welcome, everybody who is interested with a basic knowledge of science and maths, and he should not be color blind when he is operating, because he should know कि ये yellow zone कहाँ पे है, red zone कहाँ पे है, वो basic medical उसके बाद में then he can of course enter and do anything. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One ma'am question back to Dr. Gaur. If we have to really now, आपने इतने सारे courses introduce कर दिए, so let's say this youth gets trained, what kind of mechanism can we put into place where जो हमारी industry को इन लोगों को कैसे हम reach out करें, how so and then you can help you as well to establish that connect. How do we get access to the people that get trained, and how can we utilize their skill set and as well employ them? So anything, yeah, please.
Yes, definitely. What we have done is that the first pilot, 100 ITIs have been chosen as a pilot project, and the drone manufacturing and assembly technician and drone service technician, these two courses will be run in all these 100 ITIs, and later on more ITIs will be added to it. So that is number one. Second, when we talk about colleges, so in BTech colleges, like Suhas was also saying, so AICT has got a scheme called Karma. And that Karma scheme has allowed students, all the BTech students, they go for an internship for around 4 to 6 months. So they have allowed that these NSQF aligned courses, they can take up this course and the same credit will be given to them, and this added certification will be given to them. So that is how, that is another generation of workforce will be added. The courses which are launched in ITIs, these courses we are launching with the industry integration programs, where this manufacturing and assembly technician course, where 90 hours of around theory, where all the aspects of drones and everything is being told to the candidates, 150 hours of practical, and 150 hours of OJT has also been included. So that is how they get the complete industry exposure also, and definitely all the manufacturers and the people who are in this industry, they'll be able to get this workforce. So the ball has already started rolling for skill development, and I'm sure everybody will get benefit out of it.
Outstanding. We will definitely be the users for that 150-hour OJT. We would look forward to having this talent on board and utilize that fresh brimming energy of the youth. So and I'm glad. So these 100 ITs are planned across India at the moment.
Across India, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you. So I think we're at 1:11. 1 minute to go. So I would love some closing remarks from General Gurbirpal Singh, and then conclude the session for the day, sir.
Okay. After seeing all the technology in the drone, at least I'm convinced it is still the man behind the machine which matters. However autonomous the system would be, in foreseeable future, it will still be the man behind the machine. And if thus the skill towards drone, be it as a service sector or manufacture sector, is essential. And if we want the dream of India drone unicorn, we have to focus on this. Toward this, of course, we have seen government taking various initiatives, and all the inputs from the panelists. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Yeah, very valid point, sir. We need to know the man behind. Interestingly, इसीलिए हमारे regulators ने भी वो R passport हटाया नहीं है. वो remotely piloted aircraft system जो अभी exist करता है, वो हमेशा से रहने वाला ही आगे के लिए भी. And then I would like to thank all the panelists.
I just want to add one statement here. We are talking a very important topic as skill development. So I just want to say that skill development lies in the heart of. Actually, the heart is on the brain behind the Digital India, Stand Up India, and all other, like Atmanirbhar Bharat. If skills are not there with anybody, then neither can we become global skills hub of world, or nobody will recognize us. So, besides behind manufacturing, behind operation, and any aspect of ecosystem, Skill India is what we should all support with a good skill development, programs, percolated down to every school and college. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, please.
और भारत में आधी प्रतिशत जो महिलाएं हैं, उनके लिए भी मेरा एक छोटा सा मैसेज है कि अगर आप स्मार्टफोन यूज़ कर सकते हैं, वॉशिंग मशीन यूज़ कर सकते हैं, डिशवॉशर यूज़ कर सकते हैं, मिक्सी यूज़ कर सकते हैं, तो आप ड्रोन उड़ा सकते हो. और मे बी 5 years लेटर आप बेबीज अपने बच्चों का जो टिफ़िन है ना, ड्रोन में रख के स्कूल भेज रहे होंगे. सो प्लीज़ इसमें we are not behind. So please start learning about drones, every one of you, and anybody who wants to learn. It's just a machine. It doesn't know whether you are a male or female. So पीछे मत रहना इस बार.
वेरी वैलिड पॉइंट। मैं ना हम एयरक्राफ्ट वाली थोड़ी जहाज़ तो बना नहीं पाए, कोशिश कर रही, थोड़ा सा पीछे रह गए, पर ड्रोन्स में डेफिनेटली हम 2030 का जो ड्रोन हब बनाने का हमारा मकसद है, आई थिंक उसमें हम एकदम टाइमिंग एकदम एप्ट है ये ड्रोन एज के लिए। एक लास्ट पॉइंट मेरा जो अनुरोध वैसे रहेगा, रिक्वेस्ट टू द पॉलिसी मेकर्स, टू एवरीबडी एल्स, ये पूरा करिकुलम अगर हम इसको वर्नाक्युलर लेके जाएं, इसको अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस में करें, वो बहुत ज़रूरी रहेगा। आज की सर्टिफिकेशन केवल इंग्लिश में चलती है, तो हम जो किसान ड्रोन्स की भी बात कर रहे हैं, किसान शक्ति के प्रोग्राम्स की बात कर रहे हैं, उन लोगों को, और अगर आपने आज पायलट की रिक्वायरमेंट केवल एक 10वीं पास बच्चा रखा है, 10वीं पास बच्चा आपका कन्नड़ में अगर कोई बोर्ड से पास हुआ तो उसको ना इंग्लिश ज़्यादा आएगी ना हिंदी आएगी। तो ऐसे ही अलग अलग लोकेशंस ऐसी हैं जहाँ पे सिर्फ वर्नाक्युलर होना चाहिए कंटेंट। तो मेरी एक होपफुली दिस गोज़ आउट टू द राइट पीपल एंड देन एज अ रिक्वेस्ट, बिकॉज हमने ये सारी इंडस्ट्री से कलेक्टिव ये समझी है रिक्वायरमेंट कि स्किलिंग भी लोकल भाषा में होएगी। ड्रोन का GCS तो आप जैसे अगर वो आदमी व्हाट्सएप ऑपरेट कर सकता है उतनी इंग्लिश तो आपको आ ही जाती है, पर अगर मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन उसका एग्जामिनेशन भी उस लैंग्वेज में ले लिया जाए तो कोई हर्जा नहीं है। ये दिस इज मोर ऑफ कमिंग फ्रॉम आवर एक्सपीरियंस। सो डेफिनेटली वी आर ऑल्सो pushing very hard for vernacular, syllabus, vernacular, medium of instruction, because हमें सबको inclusivity के साथ लेना है। So with this we would like to thank everyone, all the distinguished panelists. Thank you, sir. And yes, we look forward to the youth coming on board with us, and then joining the skill bandwagon for the country. And then thank you all.
Thank you, Chirag.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी का। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ग्रेसिंग द ओकेजन।